Hello, dear ones. It's the Indigo Rose Lounge, and I am Alyce Dylan. I'm your host. Sit down, kick your shoes off, pull up a throw. Or not. If it's warm where you are, just be comfy. It's lovely to visit with you. And we're going to go on a little journey and have a look at the voice inside your head. So, internal dialogue. I was blown away when I learned that there are people on this planet who don't have an internal dialogue. Can you picture that? Can you imagine living your whole life with no one answering back ever? Can you imagine living a life where there's no questions coming up, where there are no answers being given within your own mind? And what do we mean by internal dialogue? Well, there are lots of theories on this. Everything from the sublime to the ridiculous. So, in my mind, I visualize that I have space of my imagination. I have what I call the amphitheater. So there's the amphitheater, and it has like a movie screen on one end, if you can imagine that. And most of my messages through my days, most of the interaction I have with higher beings and with the next world are projected onto that screen. And I guess, or I get directed by the imagery into receiving and interpreting the information that I receive. But there is also the component of my ongoing conversations with my higher self, beings in the next world. I am blessed to have the guidance of some extraordinary souls who really do help me through my days. I'm very good at cooking, but I'm not very good at cooking. I learned the basics as a child. I can cook, but I have a wonderful Belgian chef who guides me through my process as I'm throwing things together. I can be heard arguing with him in the kitchen, but he's always right, let's face it, and he knows what he's doing. And he would maybe be thought of by some people as a voice inside my head. He's not what I mean. Our communications with others, with people on the other side, our guides, etc., that's not what we mean by internal dialogue. There are other understandings of the voice in my head, different psychological guesses at what this all can mean. Is that sometimes we have a parental voice inside our head that's judgmental or critical. So when we do things, when we get something wrong, there's a voice in our head that, oh, Alyce, you should have done it that way. You see, you got it wrong. And those are tough ones. They're often very hard on us. And if you have one of those really brutal inner voices, you should maybe just ask them to calm down a little, be gentler with you, be kinder. And they'll comply. So there's this internal dialogue that can often be your own self-judgment. Sometimes you'll hear it in the voice of a parent. It'll frame itself in the voice of a parent who was judgmental. But we can train those voices. We can train that dialogue to be kinder and gentler. We can say, hey, you, me, let's give us a break, shall we? We're doing the best we can. Let's acknowledge that and get maybe onto the same page. Sometimes a breakthrough of reintegration is necessary. A lot of us during a time of childhood trauma will fracture. We will fracture ourselves into various different types of personalities. One will be responsible for one thing, another will be responsible for another thing. And we'll do that as a protective measure. And then sometimes the voice in our head is one or the other of these internal masks, if you like. So maybe one internal mask is very tough, can handle anything, that kind of thing. And another mask is perhaps very self-judgmental and very critical. But the healing of that comes in reintegration. So if you've schismed yourself out into fractured pieces for the sake of survival, through a healing process, you can go through the reintegration of all of those pieces back into one human experience. And hopefully the voice in your head can then reintegrate into one. And with some training, because often the inner voice can reflect the amount of judgment or criticism we received growing up. With some training, our inner voice can become our cheerleader and our encourager rather than our judge and our jury. So there's an inner voice that's purely ours. That's often a reflection of the amount of judgment or self-criticism we had. We can work with that inner voice to reintegrate and then make it more encouraging. Like, work with me here, guys. Work with me. And hopefully through a process of healing, you can bring them all back onto the same page. Even if they wear different hats still, perhaps their first priority can be encouragement and being there for you. The other thing that's a real sign of maturity is when you can be your own best friend, your own mother, your own father. And that sometimes can be played, that role can be played by your inner voice, being your inner mother, counseling, nurturing yourself, comforting yourself. And so that also can be expressed through your inner voice. Your inner voice is not beyond your control, though, ever. The organic, your true inner voice. It's never beyond your control. It's never an outside force. It's always within you, and it always responds to your direction. Then you have mediumship. So there is the spirit part of you, the spiritual self, and that can be bringing in or picking up voices, information, intuition, either from what it's seeing from its elevation or from others, your support team, the souls in the next world that support you. As a practicing intuitive counselor for many years who's also a medium, I can promise you that you are never, not for one moment, ever alone. There are scores and scores of people at your back, ready to support you and to assist you at all times. So the voice that's not inside your head in origin, but does get translated into your mind, that can also be from another soul, another spirit that is speaking with you. People get lost in this realm because of mental illness. Sometimes there are things like schizophrenia, or which I'm not sure about anymore. I'm not sure if that's not a misdiagnosis. I'm not sure that anything's been gotten right there. But people who hear instructions to do bad things, they should go to psychiatrists. And I never send anyone to white coats, because the voice, our inner voice, it may chastise us, it may judge us, but it is never going to encourage us to do anything that's against our own interest or the interest of. It's never going to do that. There is another element to the voice inside your head that's becoming prominent now, which is these self-assembling nanobots, which were apparently included in certain injectables and can also come from other places. There's foods and things that, or other injectables that contain the pieces for these. And so if you are hearing a voice like a radio station, so it's not actually your own, it's not you in your mother's voice inside your head having a conversation with you. If it's not like that, if it feels like your filling in your tooth is being tuned to a radio station, if that's what it's like, then perhaps you need to get in touch with experts who deal with that field. But just in terms of inner dialogue for empaths, for indigos and for intuitive people, that voice is very much a part of you. It responds to you. You may have arguments within yourself, but it's never going to direct you any way but that which the way that is good for you. All right? So if this voice that you think is your inner voice starts telling you to do horrible things, then you need to fix that. You need to figure out where that's coming from. Your guides, your people in the next world, all of those, they are only ever positive. They only ever give good advice, good direction, and they feel good when you hear it and you get information from them. It feels good and solid and yay. All right, sweetie. So, you know, again, as with a lot of other things, if it's good for you, it feels good. It feels good like bliss, like love, like joy. Good. And if it feels bad, then you're dealing with something else. All right, dears. Remember, love, always.